Hey everybody, welcome to How Do I Know You with your host Mark, Dwayne,
What up?
and Adelpha.
What's going on?
And today's topic is
Today's topic was sparked by something on Twitter a couple days ago. And so basically, we're going to cover the LGBTQ community and what exactly is going on today with their movement. Because there was an article that was written about a Texas couple that are going through a divorce proceeding currently, and the mother of the actual couple, hi guys, the mother of the actual couple is basically, she's accusing her former husband of child abuse because she considers her son to be a transgender male. Her son is 6, by the way. She considers her son to be a transgender male, so she dresses him when he's with her in girls' clothing. So when he's with her,
is it his choice though to wear the dresses, or is it she putting this on him?
she's saying that it's his choice.
Okay.
When the father gets the boy, the father is saying that he chooses boys' clothes, and he doesn't identify as a girl at all. So he doesn't dress him as a girl. So during the divorce proceedings, the mother was pretty much accusing her husband of child abuse, saying that he's forcing him to do things that he doesn't want to do, because apparently there's this thing called a gender therapeutic psychiatrist that diagnosed her son as a transgender male.
And that just sounds like someone that charges you a shitload of money to tell you to tell you what you want to hear.
Tell you some bullshit, right?
Yeah.
But so the father currently has lost a lot of rights in his parenting. So he can't address his son how he wants. He can't even suggest anything, I believe it's religious or scientific, towards sexuality. So basically, he has to give his son a choice every time he comes over on what he wants to wear. He
By
says,
law?
From the divorce
by
proceeding.
court order?
Yeah, court order.
Okay.
And he's been fine with that, but he's saying the boy has always chosen boys' clothes. He's never once chosen girls' clothes. And now she gets wind of this, and now she's accusing him of child abuse.
Okay.
So the whole topic, pretty much, I'm trying to get is, do you guys think the LGBTQ community are bullies?
In some ways, yes, I do. You?
In what way?
In today's standard, I'm gonna keep it a stack already. They've already surpassed everything minorities have done in the civil rights movement in like the last 10 years, just by bullying people.
It's like I wanna talk about this. The transgender one is really like the main focus one right now.
Right.
I think it's when Ricky Gervais had the stand up on Netflix, and he just mentions that what was his name? Caitlyn Jenner. He just put him in a stand up, saying a joke about him or her. But it wasn't even about her being transgender. It was about her murdering people by running them over. Right? That was the joke somewhere. I'm not going to repeat it, but it was somewhere there. And people fucking lit him up for that. It was just like, no one's making fun of her transgender nitty.
That's not a word at all.
Yeah, it is now. I'm going to add it to Wikipedia real quick. And people like lit him up. People was like, oh, you're so homophobic, all this bullshit. It's just like, no, we're making fun of a murderer now. Murderer just so happens to be transgender. You know, equal rights and all that. So that's where I see it's a bully. It's like you can't even talk about people that are transgender.
You can't talk about anyone who's...
You can't criticize anything they do.
Anything. Anyone who it seems like is gay, bi, trans, queer, lesbian, whatever, you can't say a word. And if you say something against them, you're instantly posed as homophobic. You're instantly just ridiculed. Your opinion at that point doesn't matter. And then now the movement has pretty much been to where people instantly have to apologize for jokes. They can't say anything, even like in art, which is music, stand-up comedy and things like that. Like, people have to apologize for lyrics in which they allude to something gay. Not even say faggot anymore. When's the last time you guys heard faggot?
Just right now.
Well, besides from me saying it like on TV or anything, when's the last time you really heard faggot?
Oh man.
You got to think about it, but you hear nigga every day.
Yeah, it's true. I do hear that every day.
Like, and I don't get, and like I said, I'm just gonna keep it a stack. I don't understand how they surpassed like the civil rights movement because they're getting everything.
It's just that they're popular. They're way more popular than the civil rights movement.
How?
Wait. What do you feel like they're getting?
Instantly, a couple years ago, they were like, oh, I shouldn't say that, but trans people were complaining about the whole gender equality bathrooms, and they were like, we just feel like that we should have bathrooms that we feel comfortable in, and we should be able to. If I'm identify as a male and I'm a girl, I should be able to go to the men's bathroom. So blah blah blah. And now stores have instantly they just broke and start giving like gender neutral bathrooms.
But is that every store?
That's not even it. To me, it doesn't even matter that it's every store. To me, it just matters that they complained about something and they got it.
But it's not every store. Do you get what I'm saying? Like
right.
I feel like if change was made to the extent that you're saying it is, every store would have gender neutral bathrooms, which isn't true.
Okay. So you're saying that just because change was made that it doesn't mean that it actually so you're saying that just because a change was made it doesn't hold weight, or are you saying that
I don't think it was as significant as you may think it was. And I don't think that the LGBTQ movement has surpassed civil rights in the least.
So
what do you feel like is missing, let's just say, from the civil rights movement that the LGBTQ community has gotten?
You gonna say something?
Yeah, I think it's more of that they don't get like dogs sicked on them. They don't get like the water hoses. They don't get beat by the cops just for trying to like get their rights. I think it's I want to say the civil rights movement made way for the LGBT
right
that one to like they just made it like the civil rights made the path, and then the LGBTQ community just walked it. Yeah, they ran it, and that's I think that's why it seems way easier for them,
right?
Because the path was already there. Like laws were already in place. That like basically they cite precedent of civil rights movement stuff, and then they get their way a lot easier.
And I guess for your question, I feel like they've been able to say exactly how they feel when they feel it without any pushback. But we, as minorities, will have a problem with someone saying a comment. Or let's just, I can go to Megyn Kelly, and Megyn Kelly, this was like a year ago or 2 years ago, saying that Santa Claus definitely wasn't black. And Jesus can't be black.
And like, blackface wasn't a big deal.
Right. And we give pushback, like, whoa, hey, hold on here. It's like, this is actually fact that, Jesus was a minority. Just from, like, demographic, if you even believe in Jesus. Like, just from demographic standings, he was not white. And she was able to say it with no problems. She got away with it and got even more popularity after it. There was no sort of pushback on it. And there's things like that happen every day. And it's like, we have to fight to get an inch. And I feel like the LGBTQ community, they just like raise a fist and like, hey, and everyone's like, all right, never mind.
Yeah. So that's why I think they're kind of bullies in that way.
And then there's things now where they use their power to even change how people do things. Like, if we could take it back to stand-up comedy, like certain stand-up comedians can't even tell jokes anymore. They even go anywhere near that. They've completely just erased it from their bits at all. Dave Chappelle openly said after his last 2 Netflix stand-ups, he's like, I'm not doing stand-up anymore. He's like, I can't. What's the point? He's like, everyone complains about things. Because he got so much backlash from his first stand-up when he had the trans jokes, which were good trans jokes. They weren't even bad. Like
he was talking about like dancing with them and like
he
having
talked
a good
about
time.
Getting blown by a trans person afterwards. And it was like, no, we don't want to hear anything negative about us, but nothing was negative.
Yeah. So in that sense, that's why I say, to be clear, get all the rights you want.
We
like
don't
yeah,
care.
yeah, like I'm all like, go
Cool.
ahead, do it, cool. But to be, dang, like to just not even mention the word trans or something like that without getting some kind of negative feedback, that's where it's just like, all right, like maybe ease up a little bit.
If someone says, if somebody says the word nigger with negative feedback, would you take it personally?
Well, would I take it personally?
Yeah.
Yes.
So if somebody says the word trans with negative things behind it, they shouldn't take it personally?
I'm not saying they shouldn't. It's fine that you take it personal. I'm saying that the aftermath of what happens is completely different from the aftermath of what happens when someone says the word nigger. It's completely different. It's not even close. If someone says the word trans, or so someone makes fun of a transgender person negatively, that's it. People have been saying nigger on camera. They've been recorded. They've been there's been people who have made racial jokes that weren't even funny, and they were just that was just their viewpoints. What damn it, I forgot his name, but oh yeah, Riley Cooper, who was a wide receiver for the Eagles. This motherfucker went to a concert, a country music concert. It was like 2 or 3 years ago, and on camera openly talked to a black security guard that he was a nigger, he doesn't like niggers, and he would fuck him up if he touched him. He got a multi-year deal next year. Let him say he doesn't like faggots. I guarantee they would have cut him. Like that's my issue with it. I feel like
I hear you. I understand the issue. I hear the examples. Why is it frustrating that one community is able to get ahead without pushback?
because I feel like here's my issue with it as a whole. So the civil rights movement, like Mark said, pretty much we created the path, and then the LGBTQ ran the path, which is fine. I feel like then it's not rescinded at all. I feel like what happens is, and I'm not talking about the minority aspect of the LGBTQ community because I know they have it. You guys have a dilemma both ways, but pretty much I feel like if you can get your right as a homosexual, and that's fine, that's all fine and dandy, but then you turn around and then you can still have a problem with minorities, I see something wrong with that. Because I feel like the underlining thing about this that makes me mad is I feel like gay people, lesbian, bi, trans, whatever, the people who feel this way, who aren't minorities, they'll get their right and then still turn around and then push minorities down, and they won't support us on anything. Like, they'll still go with the same narrative for us. And it's like, how can you walk our path but then don't rescind it and help us? I feel like if we both banded together, a lot more things would get done. But I feel like what happens is they ran the path, and then they're like, all right, we're good. Y'all got to keep doing y'all thing. Which to me isn't fair.
So the issues with white people in the LGBTQ community.
Right. But
so that's a whole, like, that needs to be, then that needs to be clear, because there's black
Right.
LGBTQ members, there's Latinos, there's
Right.
Asian, whatever, who get so much shit, who are still killed out on the street for being trans, who are still fucking denied jobs, who are still going through all that stuff. So if the problem's with the whiteness within that community, then let's address that separately.
Right. So that's why I stated, though I understand the people who are minorities in the LGBT community have it worth on both sides. But would you say that if you got your rights on one thing, but you knew underlying that there was a bigger issue that isn't being addressed, but you got what you wanted, would you be as vocal still? So, let me think of an example. Let's say we all buy a lotto ticket, but you paid for it. Mm-hmm. You gave how many? I don't even know how many numbers are in the lotto. But you gave like 3 of the numbers. Me and Mark gave a number each. We all get the same numbers. Do you feel like you deserve a bigger share because you paid for it and you gave 3 of the numbers?
Me personally, no.
No. Okay. So let's just
No.
so let's just say that if a person were to feel like I got my half, I'm good because what I wanted has been rescinded. I mean, what I wanted has been completed, so I have no complaints. But then they turn a blind eye to everything else that's going on in the community. Do you feel like that person is justified in feeling that way because their issues, they're basically fighting for what they believe in?
Can I try to word that a different way?
Yeah.
All right. So let's say this is a hypothetical. Let's say there's a group of homosexuals on one side of the street, group of black guys on the other side of the street, or just black people on the side of the street, and they're both getting beat by the cops. Just hypothetical situation. The gay side or the LGBTQ side, they win their right, and the cops have to stop beating them. They do just them though. Black people on their side still getting beaten. Nothing's being done about it. Are they going to be less vocal? Like, is the LGBTQ guys going to be less vocal about like, hey, maybe like we're not getting beaten anymore. Let's go help them to like get them to stop getting beaten. Is that what you're kind of trying to say?
Right. And I feel like it's not rescinded at all. I feel like, it's a natural thing. I get it, but once you get what you want, it's kind of like, well, I don't really have to be as vocal for everyone else, which is my issue because I feel like us as the minority community, we push for them to get stuff because it's like if you guys get stuff, it means we get stuff too, so that's fine. But then I don't feel like it's rescinded the other way. I feel like because my example, I can take it back to stand up. Why do they have such a strong opinion when a gay joke is made, a lesbian joke is made, a trans joke is made, but when a joke is made about black people, it's hilarious?
I just think because it's personal. People don't know how to separate it. Like people like aren't self-aware enough to like where, oh, I laughed at that black joke, but when it comes to a gay joke, like no.
That's my issue because then we take it back to the whole point of the LGBTQ community. They want equality, right?
Right.
So what's equal about separating yourself from a joke? What's equal from making yourself not being able to be made fun of? What's equal about we can't even discuss you guys without there being some sort of issue with it, but everything else can be talked about?
I'm on the complete other side of the fence with this. So, and there's a lot that you guys are saying, so I'm trying to kind of take it step by step. One thing I guess I'm curious about is what would it look like for you if they did, I guess, I don't know, help out? What does it look like for you? What are they not doing that you want that community to do for minorities?
Right.
For minorities. What do you want them to do?
I want them to be as vocal about the things that we go through as they are about the things that they go through. I feel like it's not the same at all.
Okay. How many LGBTQ people do you know and are friends with?
Top of my head, 4. But my best friend is obviously the most that I talk to, like the most.
Okay. And how many black people do you know?
And it's Mark. How many black people do I know? A lot.
So you know more of what black people are feeling and facing and dealing with, 1, because you are black, 2, because you have black friends and black family members. But you don't really know the other side. You know what you see, correct? Because in marches, there's LGBTQ communities.
Right.
And they're in support of movements like Black Lives Matter, and there's conversation on that. So I'm curious to see what it would look like for you to say, okay, I respect it. Because if they're at marches, if there are tweets about it, if there are Instagram posts about it, which we can look up and we can find,
Right.
what more do you need?
I would need the same.
You want the same results.
It's not even the results, because the thing that I feel like the LGBTQ community does that is very like well done is that they instantly diagnose a situation and they instantly go towards it, and it's like a full on like, no, this is wrong, which is great. My thing is, because I know from the minority side, there's always pockets to where people will feel how they feel and they'll disagree with stuff that's clearly like, I get it, because there's agendas on everything. What I would want personally is because I feel like as someone who is a minority, it's going to take a lot more than what minorities are doing to get what we want in this country. But I feel like if there's a sector that's so vocal about their things that they're doing, if they just added, like, they don't even have to do half of what they do. If they just added a little more to us when we complain about these things, I feel like it'd be way more effective. Like, if
So wait, in one sentence, what do you want?
I want them to be more vocal, because me personally, I feel like they're not.
So do you want some kind of like official, like, I'm not sure how the community works, but if there's like an official chapter or whatever, for like the official chapter, president, whatever, to be like, it's official on record, we support Black Lives Matter, or we support like black rights and all that stuff.
Right. It doesn't have to be black or anything. Like I said, just minorities in general.
So the trans people in the trans community or the LGBTQ community that are at marches to get, let's just say, black people to stop from getting beat by the police, is that invalid?
No, it's not.
So the LGBTQ community that's tweeting and posting and raising awareness for issues that minorities deal with, is that invalid?
No, it's not.
But you want more of it.
Right.
What about the opposing side of it? Because I see it, but do you see minorities standing up for LGBTQ communities?
Me personally, yes. I can't speak for, like, me personally, I see it because, of course, all the people that I know who are of this are minorities. So I understand what they're doing, and I know what, like, the issues they raise to stuff. But I guess my perspective on it is that the same people that I know in their circles, and then it goes even further, that they'll separate the issues, which is what I don't like.
If they're two completely different issues, why not separate them? And then also with that, it's like you want the LGBTQ community to be as vocal about things that minorities deal with, which, by the way, are completely different things per minority group.
Right.
Now, if you want them to be as vocal, do you feel like all these minority groups individually are as vocal about LGBTQ rights as they are about their own issues? As vocal, meaning marching for them and tweeting for them and representing for them and creating allyships for them and putting it out there. Are they doing it as much as they are for their own issues?
Let's take the whole issues thing out of it, and let's switch it to the main point, which is equality, right? So isn't the main goal that they want to be equal to everyone? Mm-hmm. So if the main goal is equality, then if we're all fighting for the same thing, we shouldn't be on the same team. So you're saying that we should be separated because our views of equality are different, or?
I just think that the equality sense of it looks different for everybody. Because what you want out of equality is very different from what I want and what we each need of it. Because you can be equal in a job, but at the end of the day, you're still a guy, which means you get paid more than I do, right? So there's 3 different issues there in one. You're black, you're a man, and we're both at the same job, and we're still being completely different, treated differently than white people.
Right.
Right. So they're completely different issues. There's different things of equality that I feel like there are voids for the LGBTQ community, just like there are voids for the black community and the Latin community. There are different voids for each one. So yeah, I feel like there's differences in there. So you don't have an issue going to the bathroom, right?
No.
But trans people do. So the same way black people fought to be able to use the same bathroom or the bathroom that they wanted to use, that's what LGBTQ community is doing right now, is to be equal, to be able to feel like they can walk into a bathroom and not be stared at.
Right.
So my thing is, if we're talking about equality, let's leave it at that. Do you feel like, let's just say Black Lives Matter is as vocal to getting trans and gay people and lesbian people and bisexual people that same equality as they are for getting theirs? Because that's what I feel like you said, where you're like, I just want them to be as vocal.
Right.
Right? But is that reciprocated?
But see, here's my point.
But wait, yes or no? Is it reciprocated?
Well, because you're doing something to where they're separate, like you said, they're separate issues. Because Black Lives Matter is for black people, obviously, and then the LGBTQ is for all their people, which I understand.
Right.
What I'm saying is, after they've received it, and after they fought for what they've accomplished what they were fighting for. My thing is, do the sides cross over? Because for us, basically what you're saying, like I said, you want us to cross over, but we haven't gotten anything, which is my issue.
But I don't think the LGBTQ community has gotten to where they want to get to.
Do you think they've gotten more than minorities in the last 5 years?
I don't know, because I'm not sure what you feel like minorities have not gotten that the LGBTQ community has gotten, aside from bathrooms, which was the only thing that you could give me. Do you get what I'm saying?
But I use bathrooms as an example.
Give me more examples. Then.
We also talked about just the rhetoric in general. You can't say anything about these people. Okay,
now let's just say there was, I forgot who it was, so I'm not going to mention names. There was a tweet where it was like, women are the niggers of the world. Tons of backlash. What's her face on...
It was the chick from Hocus Pocus.
Right. What's her face on whatever morning show?
Beth Midler or Betty Midler? Or
who gives a fuck? You said some fucked up shit. The girl on the show that was defending blackface got fired, got her show off. I feel like there are things that people, I don't know, as far as like talking about them, there are things that white people have gotten removed from or taken away for making fun of black people and defending blackface and saying the word nigger and doing this and doing that. So I've seen those repercussions the same way I've seen the repercussions of comedians not being able to make LGBTQ
Wait,
jokes.
stop. You said that the black woman who was defending blackface got fired.
She was white.
Oh, she was white.
She was white, defended blackface, got her show taken off the air.
Okay, so, and then you just said that you feel like there are white...
I feel like there are consequences on both ends. Like, I don't feel like it's just... you say anything about the LGBTQ community, you're fucking exited out. Like, you're canceled. But there are many and that's not always. Like, it's not every single time somebody says anything negative about the LGBTQ community that they're, like, canceled. And I feel like there are major instances where they are, and then I feel like there are major instances where when people say shit about black people, they're canceled too. So I'm curious as to like what you feel example wise that the LGBTQ community has surpassed. And if we're talking about civil rights movement, we're going to talk about black people have surpassed black people in getting in this day and age. Aside from bathrooms, aside from comedians not being able to say their jokes. Because I feel like comedians will be just fine.
What would be, before I answer that, you said that you thought that there was, or you've seen examples of when people speak on the LGBT community where there was backlash. I would need some examples.
Where there's backlash for him? What you said about Chappelle. He got backlash.
No. I mean, like, for speaking up. Because that's what you're talking about, right?
No. I'm saying that, like...
Because you compared the woman, the white woman who spoke up against blackface and her show got canceled, and then you said that there's people who speak up for the LGBTQ that there's...
No. Okay, no. The lady that defended blackface... She was white. She was like, blackface is completely fine.
Oh, okay.
She got taken off the air.
I thought you meant like
the next day.
Defended as bad.
No. A show that's been there for years.
Okay.
Was taken off quickly. So that's what I'm saying. Is the same way that there are changes made for the LGBTQ community, there are also changes made for like things that affect black people negatively. Now, my stance on it is I don't think anybody's ahead. I don't think that the LGBTQ community has gotten everything that they want. I don't think that they're seen as equal. And the same way we're not seen as equal. So I don't think that there's like, I don't see the race that you see. And I hear what you're saying about wanting one side to be vocal for the other one. But if you want that, that also has to be done. You get what I'm saying?
Right. So you're basically saying that we have to be more vocal, just like they are. If
you want that out of somebody, I'd expect that out of you.
So then this goes back to the whole start of this. Do you feel like we're not as vocal?
I feel like there's equal representation, but at the end of the day, for me, what I feel like is that the LGBTQ community needs to get what they want before fighting for somebody else. It's that put your air mask on before putting on the person next to you. The same way Black Lives Matter is going to fight to not get beaten down by the police before they fight for the LGBTQ community. So if you're fighting for you, you're going to fight for you first. And once you get there, yes, you're like, I get that. Yes, speak for us then.
Right.
But I don't see the LGBTQ community as equal. They're nowhere near equal. So how do you want them to fight someone else's fight when their fight's not done?
I guess the reason why we're on different sides of the spectrum is, I guess, like, my philosophy on it should be how I'm posing it, but I'm seeing it from that perspective of, like, there's more can be done if we have numbers. You're seeing it from the perspective of, that's true, but they have to get theirs first, which is, I'm assuming that's what.
The same way we have to get ours first.
Right. So my perspective on it is both can be accomplished at the same time if we band it together.
You want there to be a merger between the two.
Right.
Like right now, so they could fight together and get the rights at the same time, and it'll just be a stronger movement, probably.
Right.
But who's the head of all this?
And that's the thing. There's not.
Yeah.
There's not one person. There's not a president of the LGBTQ community.
Right. And
there's not a president of black people. There's
right.
not a president of Mexican people, of Dominican. There's not. It's Mark, but I mean, but there's not. So how? You know what I mean? And then with that, every issue is so different. We're not facing the same issues that the LGBTQ community is facing. Not all of them, at least.
Right, 100%. I agree with that.
So we can't, because there's so many layers that need to be undone, that I don't think merging is going to get anyone anywhere. I think it's putting a Band-Aid on the case and going, we want to be seen as equal, instead of saying, and that means this for the LGBTQ community, this for Black people, this for Latins, this for Asians, this for women, this for gay men, this for lesbian women. It's different for everyone. And I think all of it needs to be addressed separately. So I don't think you'd get anywhere by just saying we all want to be seen as equal, because it means different things to everybody. And like, I feel like what the LGBTQ community is fighting for, whether it's to not be killed by random fucking strangers, not even cops, random people because of how they look,
Right.
or what they're wearing, being able to go to the doctor and get the medication that they need,
Right.
to get treatment that they need, to be able to fucking feel like who they are, to get a job, to get paid as much, to be able to express themselves at work by wearing what they want to wear, isn't the same as we want to stop being beaten by the cops. We want to not have to worry about not being able to wear a hoodie at night. It's not, they're so different that I just, to me, they need to be handled differently. They're different areas, they're different things. They're similar issues, but I just don't see it merging and working. I think everybody should have their thing going on.
So, and then this is where, like I said, I'm going to always be on this fence of it, because I feel like because it's going to be separated like that, there's going to be instances where it won't get to how the certain whoever, whether it's Latins, Black people, LGBTQ, whatever, it's never going to get to a point where it's what they want, because people are always going to marginalize it and make it like it's just these people. You know what I mean? Like, it's just these people, so who cares? Because that was the whole issue of the bathroom situation. Because there was a huge part of the world that was like, wait, like, who cares? Like, this isn't a big deal. Mm-hmm. Which is then, that's why you saw certain companies are like, we'll do it. And then the rest were like, we ain't fucking with that. Mm-hmm. For what? And it's like, I feel like when it's separated, that's where people's voices get drowned out by the majority. Which is, like I said, my philosophy, and this is just, like, this is all hypothetical, because I know this isn't going to happen anytime soon. But in a perfect world, if we did all band together, I feel like we can still hit every issue, but we can hit it from different angles with just more numbers. But when everything, because let's just take, if there's a Black trans person, what is their first, what's the biggest issue at the moment? Them being Black or them being trans?
Being Black.
I feel like,
Just a quick answer.
For me, what you're doing
Mark just being Black.
Because you can see that way quicker than
you can
the
also
trans
see
thing.
that someone's trans.
But not from far away. From far away, they're like, oh, that person's Black. And then they get a little bit closer. Oh, that person's trans.
If they have great vision, they'll see both at the same time.
Damn it.
What I feel like you're doing...
What does a trans person look like?
What I feel like you're doing is trying to do the which one's worse. Which one's worse? Is it to be Black or to be part of the LGBTQ community?
See, it sounds like that. I'm not trying to make it that, but I'm trying to make it to where it's like, which one is going to, like, because it's going to come off as which one's worse. It's so hard. Like,
no, because at the heart of it, it's that. Because it's frustrating to see another group get ahead, quote unquote. Easier than Black people. So it is a which one's worse, because you feel like you have it worse as a Black man than someone in the LGBTQ community. And it's upsetting to see somebody else get ahead. So I feel like at the heart of it, at the root of it, It's that because you feel like one isn't as bad as the other.
Man, we've had our second breakthrough 2 episodes in a row, but it's with you today.
He doesn't agree though. He
I
won't
just-
see it
It'll
like
seep
that.
in.
I just don't.
Because-
It'll seep in.
At the root of it, it's that. If not, it would just be like, oh, cool, you getting yours? Good for you. It wouldn't be anything but that.
But that's like, that's how I feel. Like, I'm
But
saying
in
good
this
for
whole
you.
time, how long has it been? You haven't said it once.
Well, because we've never even, like, we haven't gotten to this. Like,
But-
I'm trying to say, like, I want you guys to get everything you get. I'm just saying once something's been accomplished, I just want a little help.
But can you really be there for somebody if at the end of it you're thinking about you? Are you really there for them? If I'm saying, Dwayne, I want you to get this baller ass job
Right.
because I want you to get a really great apartment
Okay.
because I need somewhere to stay on the weekends. How does that feel for you? Do you feel like I really want you to get that job for you? Or do you feel like I need a place to stay for the weekend? Because that's what it comes off as.
My mind would just drown you out because I just want the ball ass job.
No, but like legitimately, if that was the case, if your girl was like, you need to step it up.
First of all, no.
You need to get a better job. You need to make more money because this is the engagement ring that I want.
I'm out here getting money.
Now, does she care about you getting a good job for your future? Does she care about her engagement ring? Genuinely.
Both?
Genuinely.
Well, when you pose it like that, no, she cares about the ring.
Right. So when you say, I want you to get yours, but I want some help, you don't really care about them getting theirs. You just want to make sure that you get help at the end of it. Because you feel like your stuff and your issues and your hardships, which are very valid, you feel like are just a hint harder than theirs. Because at the end of it, you want to make sure you get into. You want to make sure that you're in the back of their minds.
That last part I'll agree with. I want to be in your mind. I just gonna let me down on that. Fuck y'all, man. But just gonna let me
Listen,
down on that.
My
fun to watch
stance
you
on
die.
this is that no hardship is harder than anybody's. It's not. And you're not living a life in which you are part of the LGBTQ community, which, you know what? Is they're looking at you and they're going, good for you that you don't have to deal with the shit we deal with.
Yeah, it's the whole, like...
Good for you that you're not fucking kicked out of your family. Good for you that you can wear whatever the fuck you want to work. Good for you that you can go to the doctor and get meds that don't make you fucking depressed and suicidal. Good for you. And you're looking at them going, good for you got fucking bathrooms. Good for you that you're accepted. Good for you that you have fucking days and rallies and marches. Good for you. At least you're not being beaten up by the cops. No one is better than the other. No one is harder than the other. It all fucking sucks.
To quote the mid-90s movies, no one would trade their shit for anyone else's shit.
Right. You wouldn't. And so when they're fighting their fight, I'd rather just take your fucking fight. Do you. Handle your shit and enjoy that because you know what it's like to have a fucking hard life. You know. So if somebody has a chance to get ahead, just fucking uplift them because it's not about you right now. You know what I mean? So good for them that they're fucking fighting. Good for them that they're getting marches. And good for us that we're fighting too. But it's going to look different and everybody's going to feel differently about it. And at the end of the day, you would not, if offered the opportunity right now, be in anybody in the LGBTQ community's shoes at all.
I would, honestly.
Would you really?
I really would.
Who would you trade places with? Specific person or just in general?
No, just in general.
You'd take their problems?
Yeah, because I feel like, and again, this will always just go back to what she said about everyone's hardships are different or whatever. Our fight is been happening for so long that personally, I don't feel like we'll ever accomplish what they're gonna accomplish, and that's, I guess, that will be to keep it a stack, that's like the whole root of my issue. Because I feel like they're going to get to a place that we'll never reach.
So you think the black community will always, or the minority community, will always be below the LGBT community
Right.
as far as like rights and,
Always.
or as far as rights or as far as everything else?
I just feel like everything else.
So you
And
think
that's
they'll
that's my personal opinion. It has nothing to do with like, oh, because you see these things. That's just my personal opinion.
see these conspiracy theories?
But that's why I feel like you can only speak on your problems. Like, you don't know what they might say that about the black community. They might look at our strides and be like, they're fucking doing their shit. I want a part of that. I want more. And that's the thing. To me, it's like, I genuinely don't think you take those shoes. I genuinely, honestly, if somebody came in right now, I don't think you'd say yes. And the same way you're going to speak on your experiences and what you feel like you've been fighting for so long, I'm with you because I'm a person of color. But I also know the other side, and I have friends who were gay and then wanted to transition and were part of that. And I've literally seen friends of mine taking these medications and hitting a point of, I'm about to kill myself right now because I can't fucking take this depression. I can't take how I'm fucking treated. Have you, and if this is too personal, you don't have to answer it, but have you ever at any point gotten to that where you're like, I'm just going to end it because being black is not worth it?
Oh, for me personally, no. But there's people in my family that have like been riddled with self-hatred
Of course.
because of stuff like this. So this is why when you say like, oh, you wouldn't like trade places or trade shoes, I think about it just a little bit differently because I'm like, because if the whole point is to get to an end goal of what you want or equality, I feel like just point blank, we gave them the blueprint and they've just taken and ran with it.
But why is that upsetting if it means that another marginalized group is just going to get something that they deserve?
It's not upsetting that they're getting what they deserve. I told you my issue will always be, I feel like we'll never be together. We're gonna, they've surpassed us to a point where it's like, we gave you guys the blueprint because we're also like, yeah, go get yours. But then it'll never be looked at as equal from society. And we can argue this all day, but it's not.
I just don't get what you feel like they've surpassed.
Is it just the like the mainstream media being like, you could still say, you can still make fun of black people, you still say the N word, and it kind of just, nothing really happens unless people start getting upset. Like if no one gets upset, then they could just keep doing it. But if you mention anything with the LGBTQ thing, even if no one's upset, they get like fired like that or something.
It's not even, for me, it's not even mainstream media, but that obviously does happen. To me, it's just society in general right now. I feel like it is, again, personal opinion, it is way more, how can I phrase this? It's way more, what's the word I'm looking for? Damn it.
You think it's easier to be a part of the LGBTQ community than it is to be a part of the black community?
I think, 100%. I'm not gonna lie on that. 100%. So, but that's not the word I'm looking for though. It's way more,
Accepted, or
it's way more productive.
do you think it's because they being gay, it bonds the community more
Right.
than it is being black?
Right. But it's like, again, we keep saying black because,
Yeah, just really in the forefront. So
right. But that's what I'm saying, because the civil rights thing was started with black people, but then it transferred to everyone else who is a minority. So, but my whole point is it's way more productive because I feel like their issues get highlighted instantly and just ours doesn't. I feel like ours now.
But do you think? Let's take it back to the 50s when or the 60s when the civil rights was happening.
Mhm.
Do you think all the I'm gonna just go ahead and say just generally homosexual from now on?
Whoa.
Well, yeah. Do you think them back then they were like, oh, they were saying the same thing maybe you were saying, like, oh man, why do their problems get highlighted and like, oh, us like we still have to hide and like we can't be open about it? Do you think there was like
Honestly,
same?
I can't speak on that because I have no idea.
Just depend, like just mental exercise, like mental thought. Like if someone was like, you have to answer this, do you think it's the same? Because that's what it sounds like to me. It's just like, oh, like their problems are getting highlighted today, but back then their problems were like civil rights movement that was getting highlighted. Nothing about LGBTQ. But today, the hot thing, the new thing, is them, and their problems get highlighted. Black problems get washed away because it just happens so much, and it's just like the old thing. And
I don't even like the phrase "the hot thing" though, because people think that we're the hot thing, which is, being black and oppressed is trendy. This is what I'm talking about. Like, it's looked at on the same scale, but for some reason it feels like they're...
Bam. It feels like. It feels like.
Okay, so I'll take it. It feels like their issues get accepted way more than ours. So not even the feels. I'll take feels out of it.
Proof of that. There's no solid proof. Like, there's literally, aside from your social media account, no solid proof that that's true.
But I'm saying that there's no solid proof on anything that we're talking about. I'm saying this is my opinion. I've been saying that.
And I hear you. I'm not saying that you're not saying that. But you feel something about something that's personal to you. You feel like Black issues aren't highlighted as much as LGBTQ issues. And there are people in the LGBTQ community who literally feel that their issues aren't highlighted as much as Black people's issues. So and look, the same way you don't agree with that, they can hear that and be like, that's not even fucking true. Because there's like over hundreds of Black trans women that are killed monthly.
is that true?
Yes.
Oh shit.
I don't know. I have no fucking
Right. And that's the thing, is that you're not looking at those issues. So you don't know those issues the way you know Black issues.
But,
and while it's an opinion, I get it. You can speak on you, and I get it 100%. But you have to be aware that you're kind of, whether you mean to or not, saying that it's upsetting that they're kind of getting ahead or that their issues are highlighted when you only know one half of it.
it's upsetting because I feel like just because it's human nature, it will not come back.
No, it never will. But that's just your human nature. It doesn't have to be about rights. It could just be two people of the same everything else. But if one person's getting a lot, it's most likely will never get resented to the other person.
Well, then that's been my issue throughout this whole thing. But
so you just want people to admit that. If more people admitted that, you'd be like, okay.
If more people admitted what?
That like even if we get what we want, we're not going to rescind the support that you gave us. Right? Am I saying that right?
pretty much. Well, it doesn't have to be like support generally. Just like it won't be rescinded. Like we're gonna get ours. Once we get ours, all right.
This is the thing. Is just like let's take out just the rights part of it. Do people really want to be equal to each other, or do people want to be better than their neighbor?
And that's pretty much what I'm talking about. Because I feel like there is no real like equality aspect of this at all.
It's like why was Cuba in like trouble for so long with the social thing where like everyone was equal, no one everyone had their thing, no one had more than the other person.
Well, see, they were communists. See,
communists? Okay, not socialism, man. I don't know. Yeah, political science.
Castro was a communist.
But it's like that. I just don't think it's ever going to be that way. But that's like one of those open-ended conversations where you're going to be on the side of whatever's in your life. Mm-hmm. Like I'd probably be more vocal about LGBTQ. Damn it, I can't fucking say it. Their rights.
LGBTQ.
I can't do it. Like if our friends were that were in that community were more vocal about like getting rights and blah blah blah, I would totally be like, I'd be retweeting that. I'd be like more vocal about it. But the people that I know that are in that community, I never see them post about that stuff. So it's like I'll only like retweet or like whatever like the major story is.
Wait, what do you mean like the major story?
Like whatever the major story in the news is that day, like someone saying faggot on the TV, and people get upset.
Question.
So,
If we're talking about major news and you're retweeting, more times than not, is it concerning discriminatory issues or racial issues? Is it usually racial issues?
For me, it's usually racial issues, yeah.
Okay. What is it usually for you? What do you see on your Instagram and on your Twitter? Is it usually racial issues?
no, actually, it's usually the LGBT.
More than?
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
I don't know what you.
Where the receipts?
I just
Look
feel
at my
like
timeline.
because more times than not, there's a lot of, not more times than not, but there are a lot of instances almost on a daily basis where there's injustices towards Black people that are being highlighted, that are trending, that are being talked about, that are being retweeted. There's a new hashtag almost every day.
You know, I think we needed because it's these like the argument. There's no definite answer, right? Correct. There's no definite answer for either side. Whatever community you're a part of, that one's always going to be more important to you, and it's always going to be like, oh man, these people should be helping, blah blah blah.
But nobody should be wronged for looking out for their issues.
Right. I agree with that.
And that's my thing, is that I never like, and that could just be me, but I would never be like, get yours and then help me get mine. Or I got you to where you got. Because that's fucked up.
Whoa, hold on. So if you mapped out, like let's just say, if you told us like, guys, if you do this, that, this, and the third, and you follow my exact points and whatever, you'll get to have like this huge ass house and everything like that. We listened to you. We got there. Now let's say, again, kind of how I've been trying to phrase this whole thing. Now it's your turn to do the same thing, but it's not going exactly how it went for us. There's no part of you that would want us to help, knowing that you helped us.
Me, personally, no. I hate that shit.
I don't,
You guys
man.
both do the same thing. It's
I
hilarious.
hate that shit.
You guys both
because
do
you
that.
know what?
Sorry.
That's not me at all, where like, if I get you something and you don't wear it, I'm never going to be like, yo, I spent money on that shit.
That's a different thing.
No, it's not. Because you're literally saying civil rights was there. We did that for you. And look at what you're getting. That's what you did. And before civil rights, there were Native Americans who got fucking killed off that nobody talks about.
Which they still are.
For living in a fucking well somewhere because nobody gives a shit. We're not standing up for them. Right? The same way we're not standing up for LGBTQ, we're standing up for Black people right now. And nobody's faulting us for that.
So, but going, like, you brought up the whole Native Americans, then using your logic, since they have their own issues, they should be more vocal. But since they're such a small population, who cares? Because they can't be.
So why aren't we being vocal for them?
That's what I'm saying.
Right, but we're not doing it. So if we're not doing that for somebody who we could, why are we expecting that from another community that's still in a fucking shithole?
This goes back to my philosophy. We're all wrong. We're all wrong for it. Like, again, if we all band together, we can get something, but we're all wrong because we choose to highlight our own shit. That's my problem.
The only way banding together would work is that if there were people like the heads of stuff, which is not, I get because of that, I think the only real way for everyone to work together would be whoever gets there first. Once you're well off, come on back and help the rest of us. It's like that. If it's black, cool. If it's LGBTQ, cool. Come back. You know.
If it's what?
LGBT. You know what I mean? So it's just that, because it's the whole banding together thing, unless there's like chapters and people organize, which will never happen because there's no money in it, and really that's like the main thing. I think it's the money. So yeah, it's just. I mean, we're going in circles right now, but it's that. It's I think the best thing we could do is whoever gets there first, just come back and help the rest. You know.
And that's where, like I said, in a perfect world, and this is why, like I said, my philosophy is I believe in that. Like, yeah, if you make it, and you know that we're trying to do the same thing, come back, help us. We can help the community. But if you leave, and you expect us to do the same thing, which we try to do, but you know, like, you can see the pitfalls that we're gonna go through, but you don't say nothing. To me, that's fucked up. But Adelpha is saying that that's fine. Let me, like, I'll figure out a way to get there. That's not always true, because there's going to be things that are just going to happen to another person that didn't happen to you.
I think, and we're going to go back to what we originally were talking about, which is the LGBTQ community.
I'm going to be like commies.
You say it weird.
You initially were saying they're not as vocal. They're not standing up for us.
Right.
Now you're saying when they get there, I'd appreciate. Hold on.
I'm just
Hold on.
saying, I didn't say that. Come on, man. I didn't say that.
Now you're saying when they get there, come back and look out. They're not there yet. They're not at the finish line. Let them get there before getting angry at what they did not do, because they're nowhere near where they need to get to. Neither are we.
Really, it's just fuck white people.
And at the base of it, it's that.
Right.
It's that, because society who we're talking about is white America, white male America. Because white women aren't giving a shit about.
That's true. They vote the other way all the time.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy.
So, at the end of it, yes, I get what you're saying. That makes sense. I'd like some help when you get to the finish line. But you can't be mad about it if nobody's at the finish line. Nobody's there. So you can't pinpoint the LGBTQ community and say, you're not as vocal. You don't want equality because you're not fighting for us. When they're sitting there trying to fucking get to that finish line. That's my thing. They're not there. They're nowhere near. And if you believe that, that is insanity.
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all.
But they're nowhere near there. So there's no valid reason to say, fuck you guys, because you're not looking out for us.
Never said that.
And that's not what he said.
Never said that. Never said that at all. Please look.
Don't come after us.
I want to be very clear that I love all gay, lesbian, trans, bi, queer, because honestly, I do not
non-binary,
whatever you, because I don't, at the root of it all, I do not give a fuck. It has nothing to do with me. All right? That's the whole, my stance on all that stuff, because it's what you guys want to do, fine, go do it. It's cool. But my last thing I was going to say, and then we can end this. So we can't all get there together at the same time.
I'm going to say no.
I'm going to say no.
And my reason is because people don't want to work together. People don't want to work together. People think that their problem is more important than the next person's problem all the time. And that's why they if you talk to people, they're always just complaining about their problems and, oh, I got it so hard and blah, blah, blah. But then when you start talking about your problems, they probably won't even listen. They probably will just, zone out or walk away. It happens to me all the time. Like they people are wherever, they just tell me their sob story. I don't know why. Stop telling me your sob story. Strangers, stop.
Mark does not care.
I don't. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe they think it's just like a blank wall or something. Anyways, people do that to me. But then if I start saying a problem about what I'm going through, they get distracted so easy. They're on their phone. They start talking to someone else. It's like, oh, okay, cool. So I just sat here quiet and really listen to your problem, but then fuck my problems. I think that's the way people are.
Because you don't have any hair. That's what it is.
Nobody knew, man.
I'm sorry.
Nobody
man.
knew on the radio. They can't see it. They can't hear the hair follicles falling out.
I'm just gonna say it's the end all the shit. I do believe we can get there at the same time. I of course look at it from a perspective because I've just been happen to be blessed with all the people that I know, and yes, of course. And from my little small pocket of friends or whatever, we're all pretty down the middle on everything, and we fucking sympathize with everyone's issues. So this is why I think I'm like, if we can do it, it can all be done.
I think our group of friends though is pretty rare.
We're fucking rare.
It's pretty rare.
Yeah,
but
I think you guys need to be very aware that like you two in general and like your group of friends is not everybody.
Right.
Yeah, it's too much of a melting
like,
pot.
Dwayne, you have the kindest fucking heart to even sit there and say, I think we can band together. That's a big fucking heart. Because you have to, that means that you're sitting there going, I get what you're going through. And I want to help you get to that finish line. 98% of the world is going,
Yeah, fuck that.
I can't even wrap my head around what you're going through, so good luck, and I'll see you when we get there. Yeah. And that's why I think, no, it's not possible to get to that point together because nobody's really there.
Yeah.
That takes a whole different kind of self-awareness, self-love, and like fucking self-empowerment for you to say, cool, my shit is fucked up, but so is yours,
Yours is
and
too.
let's fucking get
Come
together.
on. We can do this, man. Come on.
But
And
for me, it's not gonna happen. I don't think it will. And whether it should or not, I don't know. But I personally don't ever want to fucking like put my shit on anybody else knowing that their shit is fucked up. That's my stance. Do what you want. Fight for your shit because your shit is different. And it's something that I would never understand. It's something I can't physically or mentally or by any capacity wrap my head around because I'm not going through it. I can't wrap my head around what it feels like to get beat by the fucking police with sticks. I can't. I can feel sad about it. I can say that's fucked up. I can march for it. I can retweet about it. But I have no idea what that feels like.
you ain't never been thrown on the hood of a car?
No.
You ain't never been, like, roughed up, searched, interrogated, that you're in a gang?
No. Have you ever been raped?
Well, nah. No.
No, right? So we
knocked them
can
out
go
for that.
tit for tat on what's
Thank you.
worse. But what you got done by the police, I got done by someone I thought I trusted.
Oh, man, that's a different... Damn it.
Right.
Never going to win that one.
So there we go. There we go. So you can't, as much as you feel for rape victims, you don't know what that feels like.
Yeah, most people.
You don't know that, like, the trauma I've been through. And by no means is it way worse than your trauma.
Man, now I'm all sad. Damn it.
No, I agree with all that because I think most people. It's hard for people to wrap their heads around stuff. I know how to talk. Because they only hang out with people like them, and that is it. Like, how many times have we seen groups like us, groups of friends? They're like, man, all those people have like the same haircut and the same style,
fucking the same girl.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
That.
Man, we could grow up with those stories. The girls just like they just,
that's weird.
Everyone's hooking up with everything. Yeah, it's like
Move to the East Coast.
and it's just like maybe like those people like I've known some like the Mexican friends that you didn't know that I like they were my friends like they're part of whatever.
I hated niggas.
Dude, they did so much and I never understood why. And I remember I was wearing a Bob Marley t-shirt one time and they were like what do you have that I'm gonna say black but they didn't use the word black. What do you have that black person on your shirt? And I'm like, it's Bob Marley, man. Like, what the fuck? I'm like, you're really gonna hate, like, you're that racist to where, like, you can't even like Bob Marley? That's fucking crazy. I never understood why, because white people look at us the same.
Yep, that will always be my main point of all this, because I know people who hate gay people. Like, they will not go anywhere near it. They don't fuck with it. There's people in my family who don't like talking about this shit. And I'm like, if Jay told me today he was getting married and he's like, all my best men have to wear a dress, I'm like, can I at least wear some pants under the dress? Because I'm like, fuck it, man. Like, because you're my boy. Like, it doesn't, like, it does not matter.
I just don't want my shit to be in the breeze.
Yeah, I just don't. Like, it doesn't matter to me. But there's so many people who are like...
Jay's like, I didn't tell you wear panties. You don't wear panties.
Why you wearing a full thong, man?
I commit to the bit, dude.
Like, but there's so many people, I get it, who will look at that and be like, no. There's so many people who look at, Hispanic problems and be like, so? Like, I get it.
Yeah.
And me personally, I would wish we would band together. I've always been like that. I've always been like, I don't understand why people feel like they're better than other people because we're all fucked up and we're all the same under white people's eyes. But it's what it is.
Yeah.
So
it should really like that stuff should only matter like when it becomes the individual and it becomes about character, the person's character. That's when it's like fuck that person. They're a piece of shit. They're assholes.
Oh,
tell
you
you
know
what
I mean?
I was
Like,
like, wait, what are you talking about?
like in like character of like some
Yeah.
like douchey
Like,
guy
if you're
always
a
trying to
shit
sell you.
person,
Yeah.
Like, be hated for being a shit person, not for being black or for being gay.
Yeah, and don't try to make it seem like it's because you're gay or black or
Right.
whatever. It's just you're a shit person.
I will stop someone from raping a girl and I will stop someone from raping a man. They will not, if the shit's fucked up, I'm going to stop. Doesn't. But of course, the man raping, I'm going to be like, what the fuck? Nah. The hell? Why is this happening? But yeah. All right. Do some plugs.
So some plugs. You can find us on Twitter at How Do I Know You, the number 1. My personal one at I am Mark, spelled with a K. And then you guys. Oh, right, the YouTube. Sorry. Man, I always forget. Damn, I'm so bad at plugs. Our YouTube, How Do I Know You? You can find us easier by using the hashtag
HDIKY.
There you go.
And I'm at DC Junior 13 on Twitter and DC Junior BFSB on Instagram.
What?
Been fresh. DC Junior BFSB. I had to think about it for a second.
My Instagram is the Alpha Mark.
All right, guys. But if one thing's for sure, if I don't know, and we don't know,
Who really knows?
how do I know you?
Thanks for
See you
listening,
guys. First of all, I said that. No.
Just cut out.